Hey guys, I'm going to go back to the WR2 from Wolfman, and this is the 85 gap, I believe. You'll see it in the title and in the description, just in case I made a mistake. We're using the nice and dense and flexible Semogue 2000, and it's got two bands there to rein in the splay. It gets a little wide otherwise. Inside the razor, we're going to be putting in this Personna 74, a vintage blade that's out of production. I put an M on it because I'm going to marathon this guy, and we'll see how many uses I can get out of him. And the soap, Maggards razors, recently had a sale on Meissner Tremonia, and I bought it was amber woods, warm almond or woody almond or something like that. Well, here's warm woods. This was the second that I bought, and the price came down to kind of a normal soap price, and these seem to be pretty hard pucks, and so I bet they'll last a long time. Well, here I've got the old tub here. Woody almond was the scent. Now I've marked that out because I took the woody almond puck out of here. I've put the warm woods puck in. All right, let me put this blade down before I mess it up. And so inside here, these are awesome jars, is the Meissner puck. It's been unused. And around is the little bit of the tiny leftovers from the woody almond that I shaved one shave with. All right, love these jars, man. They are hefty. And there's a rubber gasket that comes with this maker, and it keeps the puck centered, which is pretty cool. And since this is a hard puck, I'm going to go ahead and put some water on there, let it soften up. The scent was just so weak on the woody almond that I'm going to sell that puck and to somebody who wants something a little more low-key. And I think we're ready to go. I'm going to throw some water on my face as kind of a softener of the hair. The sink is draining really slowly lately. That could be a barrier. I need to snake it or plunge it or something like that. Could slow down my progress. All right, and then we've got a 2-day shave on my face now. I didn't shave yesterday. And so, there we go. That's long enough of a soak. I don't believe I soaked yesterday. I'm just going to do a 30-second load. Shake most of the water out of the brush. I like this brush. This is one of my favorite Semogues. All right, let's do that 30-second load. We'll start when it's on the 20-second marker. And I did look at my notes this time, and I think the last time I used this soap base, I used too much water. So I hopefully going to not overwater it this time. For other soaps, it may not have been overwatered. That's 30-second load. Let's just see if that gives me enough soap to do the job. Let's just go ahead and, since it's kind of an unknown, let's go ahead and do another 10 seconds. If I end up with a lot of soap, then so be it. A lot of lather. All right. I'm going to rinse the jar here. So my notes said that this soap was not really a great one to run as thin as I did last time. It was serviceable, but I might have liked it better a little drier. So we'll run this a little drier than I think. Last time I added 4.5 or 5 teaspoons of water. I think maybe, anyway, I made the note to just use like 3.5 or 4 teaspoons of water. Now I don't think I bloomed that particular soap. I don't think I let it sit in water like this one. So that could have thrown that measurement off, but now we've got a nice little pasty creation going on here. And so let's fill up my syringe so that I can track how much water we are going to use. So that is 2 teaspoons. And why don't we just go ahead and put in 3 and slowly mix things up, because you'll splash the water out if you don't go slow. I think I recall this being a reasonable, I believe it would be a reasonable soap if I backed off of the water, so we'll see how it happens. Lately I've been finding soaps that didn't really have a slick, creamy nature to them. It was more of a wet slickness, and sometimes that does the job. And I think they were vegan soaps. They weren't really tallow soaps, but it does the job. But it just so many other ones that are better, have more of a buttery slickness. I just got in a lot of products that I bought, and some interesting pieces in there. And one of those is the aftershave I'm going to try out tonight. And I believe I've seen this in stores. Nivea Deep Comforting. And so I actually got it in the box. And so I was opening the box and I realized this is an alcohol-based splash. And when I think of the words deep and comforting, I don't think of harsh alcohol type products. I would have thought that was some kind of balm or something like that, a lotion based, product, but oh well. So we'll see. This one does have some castor oil in it, but other than that, it's propylene glycol, water, and fragrance. So in addition to the alcohol, water is the first ingredient, so at least there's more water than alcohol. And polypropylene glycol may be what it was, instead of propylene glycol. I don't remember for sure. Well, this lather's looking pretty good. We started off by adding kind of how much water we thought it might take, and just slowly mixing it. Now I don't have to work as slowly because all the water's mixed in, and it's the viscosity more like a lather now. Let's just get a uniform mix here. And since I do want to run this guy a little drier than I might normally run it, I may not add any more water, because water's easy to add during the shave. We just see kind of how creamy it feels when it runs a little dry. Yeah, this is a soap that kind of has those micro bubbles going on. Can you see that? Tiny, thousands and thousands of tiny little bubbles on the surface. Often that means it's not a tremendously creamy viscosity. So we'll see. And let's load up the razor. So the Wolfman version 2, the WR2, has a base plate that has 4 notches on the corners for these 4 prongs, easily identifiable. And we'll go ahead and put the blade on. Precise alignment every time. And there we go. Okay, splash a little water on my face. This Wolfman is nice. I like the gap. It's may even be a little lower than the actual range you can order from, so it may have been a custom. But I'm happy about that. And it, to me, I could actually, if there was maybe a 75 or something like that found, I might be tempted to switch it, because this still could use to be just a little smoother. So in the light of that, right now with my 2-day shave, I know that I'm probably not going to have a problem at all with taking this hair down. Well, the lather feels great on the face. This brush is nice, a good massagey, kind of action. It looks a little clumpy when I do this, and so that often means it's time to let's add some water to the mix. You can do this, where you can only add a few at a time. You can open up a well in the middle, add several at a time, but then you kind of have to, if you don't want it to dribble out the base of your brush, you have to kind of tilt your head over in weird ways until it mixes with the lather. And now we're kind of like I'm doing a face lather, where I'm mixing it on my face here, letting my face feel it so that I can kind of know when to stop adding water. I did soak this brush maybe for an hour before use. And as you can see, the amount of lather increased on my brush. So that does mean that, it could take some more water if it wanted. It wasn't already maxed out. All right. Oh yeah, this is a great, slight bit of tugging and that sort of thing. But moving through this hair like there's just no problem at all. Reckon sometimes it might be a good idea to let your face take a vacation. Especially if you're working on your technique. You're having some issues, getting some razor rash in certain areas. You could just skip shaving altogether. Or you could skip shaving that certain area, if that helped you. That way you're not kind of digging yourself into a hole by having that irritation prompt further irritation. Well, now with this mix, it's definitely drier than I used before, and I can kind of see why it might have been on clearance at Maggards. I'm thinking this soap base just is not quite worth the money. The scent is very weak, so it's not really excelling kind of in that regard. I mean, it's nice, but when I went to rinse, wasn't really any secondary slickness. you know, the water didn't activate any slickness on my face that was resident. So it's just cross grain now for the second pass. Comfortable, yes. I haven't used this blade with this razor yet, and right now they seem like a really good match. Seem like they're cutting well. My blade's not skipping, so I don't think my lather's too wet. Also, the looks of it, I can just kind of tell it's not too wet. Got enough slickness to do the job. It's the scent is not very strong at all. I think I don't even think I can. I'm smelling it right now. But I wanted to try this sample. Try this scent before too long. There is a contest that's going to be coming up. You'll see me doing it maybe in a week, something like that. Yeah, I just applied the third pass, and this is pretty much an unscented soap. I barely get any when I stick my face in the bowl. Warm woods. I could see that description kind of fitting. It is kind of woody, but it's just really easy going. And so this is definitely going to be geared to somebody who has a sensitivity to strong scents, or skin sensitivity in general, where the fragrance oils can just sometimes bother somebody. And so woody oils used in this type of manufacture, soap and stuff, to add the scent can sometimes bother, you know, certain people with allergies and things like that. And so, boy, I can't imagine this one bothering anybody. It's just so weak in terms of scent. But this could be a way for somebody with those kind of problems to use a soap that has something of a scent, that they could, you know, put the bowl up to their nose every once in a while and smell it. Do you know what? I actually feel like it might have some kind of cooling agent in it. Maybe not menthol, but maybe something else. I am getting that feeling. Now it feels nice and creamy and slick when I am, you know, rubbing my fingers on it right now. And so that's why I'm getting what feels like a good shave. But I tell you, a second time as well, when I went to rinse my face, it's like there wasn't anything there. You know, I felt like I was rinsing away something, but there was just almost no hint of the shaving cream being on my face. So there's just residual, it's just not really there. All right, well, hey, let's do it. Third pass. Cross grain is what I do for my third pass. A lot of guys are able to do against the grain. Now for me, against the grain on my cheeks is simple. It would be from the bottom pretty much to the top. I think there's a slight tilt toward, as the grain comes down, a slight tilt toward my chin, just a little bit. So it's not a perfect north-south, you know, kind of scenario, but it's close. And on my other side as well, same thing. Yeah, very comfortable cutting with this blade. They are still obtainable, you know, on eBay and stuff, but I do have a good number of enjoyable blades that I like with this razor, so I don't really feel like I need to you know, pay exorbitant prices for, you know, this kind of blade. I was sent this by a viewer. Wish I could remember. It was a while back, but I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. I'd heard about them, read about the 74s, and I'm really curious if this guy's going to go a long way, because they are kind of known for that. And how does my, yeah, see, look, it's just dry. There's very little slickness. There's none in my, virtually none in my cheeks. Maybe you like that. There's definitely, you're not going to spend, there are some soaps out there that are so buttery, fatty, slick that it sticks to you. It takes a while to wash it off. But during your shave, it feels luxurious and slick. Your razor's just able to just be light and move across your face with no problem at all. I'm not sensing any kind of drag with this soap either, but it's just a wonderful experience when it's that slick. But then you get to the end of the shave and it takes a while to rinse off your face, just the way it is. Some people definitely don't like that, so maybe this kind of soap might be the way to go. Now I do see some length and a good many hairs right there. So let's do a touch-up pass right there. But I was going to say that it's almost like this soap was designed like some kind of no-rinse soap. Whatever once you shave, just kind of wipe it off. And, you don't need to rinse. And whatever minimal is left on your skin just kind of gets absorbed. I don't know where it goes. I'm sure that's not, the truth, but it's almost the impression I'm getting. Now let's see, I'm going to pull it this way this time. Let's try this. You don't want to stretch too much, but if I can just get that section taut, then maybe I can get a nice close shave right there. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That's pretty good. Got the plunger to my sink during one of the cutaways, so the drain's working much better. All right, well, I think that I mixed this soap up as good as it's going to do for me. It is definitely drier than I usually like to have my soaps. Barely any stretch, barely any peaks as it dropped. Now, of course, this is a smaller quantity than I usually am testing. But as I lift up, it's keeping its shape pretty easily. And some soaps are like this. A lot of shavers that have really been savoring the experience and like high quality lathers are probably going to find this one inadequate. It just doesn't hold water as well, and you just have to run it a little drier. And the performance lathers, you can dump water in them like crazy and they still hold up. They don't break down. Minimal. This may be one of the weakest scents I've smelled in a long, long time. If I was stranded on a desert island, I wouldn't have a problem using this soap. I mean, it is slick when it's on your face. Yeah, you don't get the luxurious rinses like you do with some. You get a tiny bit of scent, and so it's better than unscented, but just barely. But it works. And when it's on your face, like you saw me with kind of moving my fingers around on my face, that is slick, and so it does the job. So it works. It works, but I think I'll be passing my Meissner pucks on to somebody who is more of a fan of the German motifs. Some people like Italian soaps. Some people like, other European soaps and things like that. Also, somebody who is just, like I said, interested in something really mild. I could probably make 2 passes out of what's left. So it looks like in terms of the formulation, I kind of hit it about right. I'm happy with that. I do have Black Beer #1 from them, and now that scent I really kind of enjoyed. It was definitely stronger than this particular one I'm using today. How much water did I use? Yeah, I did add a little bit of water. I used 3 teaspoons, and then I added some drops to that first pass, as you may recall. So looks like about 3 1/3 teaspoons or 3 1/4, something like that. All right, I haven't done the final rinse quite yet. Let me do that. So let's throw some splash on. Nivea Deep Comforting. Have any good info on the back? It says Deep Comforting Post-Shave Lotion. Apply liberally, you know, avoid the eyes. Made in Germany. My first time using it. Don't quite know what scent to expect, but I have used the Nivea aftershave balms, both the non-alcohol and which is the sensitive, and then the original, and I enjoyed the scent on them. Just kind of a generic man type scent, so that was good. I'm also glad that the shave today was easy on my skin, so I'm not going to have a problem using an alcohol splash. Why would they call this deep comforting? The balm is much. Yeah, and there's definitely a hint of that same Nivea fragrance from the balms. Slight difference, but it's recognizable. It's like you can tell it's in the same family, and not super strong. Like right now, not really getting too much of it in my nose, so it's not obnoxious. It's definitely not going to, you know, bother me as I'm about to hit the sack. So in terms of a night shaver, this is a pretty good one. And perhaps as a aftershave lotion, it may not interfere with a perfume or a you know, cologne that you might want to use after the shave. So that could be good for some people. I'm going to clean up my stuff. So this is what the 2000 looks like after just kind of a sling in the sink. I did dry off the handle, but I just grab it like this, hold it really well, hold it down into the sink so that the water spray stays in the sink, and just wiggle it back and forth vigorously like that. Then that toweling action takes it the rest of the way. Now there's not any water in here that could be affected by gravity, and so that's why it doesn't matter if I have a hanger, a rack that would hold this, a stand that would hold this brush this way, or if I sit him on its bottom and let him point upwards, he's going to dry the same either way. And I really enjoy this knot, and it held true to that again today. Definitely anticipate moving this. This handle's okay, but I definitely going to move this brush to a different handle once everything's said and done. It's possible if it opens and splays too much, I might not, but for right now, I really like the feel. I like the density a lot, so I definitely plan on or expect to rehome it into a more ergonomic handle for me, the Semogue 2000. Now, as I'm moving around, I'm actually starting to smell that aftershave, and it is a warm, it's not super bright like citrusy or anything like that. Kind of a warm, maybe there's a hint of vanilla in there, but it's working nicely. It doesn't smell like anything like a vanilla candle or anything like that. It's got some spices, some other warmth pieces in there, maybe a little amber, maybe a touch of aquatic. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And so in terms of strength, it is beefing up just a little bit as I'm kind of moving around and experiencing it in the bubble that I'm in here. So this is use number 20, I believe, for this brush. And there are some tips, especially around the edges of the knot, that are splitting. So we are making that happen. That is usually helped with wet, dry cycles, letting it go a day between shaves. If you have just a limited amount of funds, you could buy 2 boars if you wanted to, and just use them every other day. And this one was maybe $18, and there's some other good ones that are just 15. And so they're very reasonably priced, and so it doesn't cost too much if you wanted to do that kind of stagger, and then they would break in a little quicker. However, if you just had one, that's okay. It'll still break in. Just might maybe take a little bit longer. But especially with the Semogues, I find them so soft that after just, if you're not familiar with Boars, they do require break-in, and at first the tips haven't split and the bloom hasn't really opened, so they don't hold too much soap. And so you don't be surprised if you find yourself going to that soap puck before each pass instead of just once in the beginning of the shave like I did. That's typical for maybe the first week or even 2 weeks worth of shaves. But with all the Semogues that I've done after 2 weeks, and usually before, it's able to be used normally and enjoyably, usually very comfortable on my face. Yeah, now that I'm able to kind of be in this scent, it is very similar, if not maybe exact, of those Nivea balms. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they've used the same recipe there. And it's nice. I've liked the other ones a lot. So it's good to have if I feel like maybe the balm is if my face did really well with that shave, not any irritation or anything like that, I could skip the balm, go right to the alcohol splash since I've got oily skin. And that could help to cut down that oil and be better for the next day. Whereas if I've maybe been a little too aggressive with the shave, then the balm might be nice to help a little extra healing action there. Also, the balms are nice if you are, balms in general are nice if you have dry skin or sensitive skin. Instead of the alcohol splash, that can dry your skin out. Well, final sum up, the soap didn't really surprise me since I'd tried this same base, same type formulation just a few days ago. It's okay, you know, it'll get the job done. It'll give you some slickness, won't give you too much luxury. It'll probably give you a good long use life since it's a pretty hard puck. So it might actually end up to be an okay price point, but there are definitely others that will give you a better shave for less money. And if you like scents, then there are others that will give you better scents for sure. So love the brush, love the razor, great pairing with the 74, and that was cutting off 2 days of growth. So it's very normal to have a little bit of tugging in that situation, for me at least. I think we're good. Long day of traveling and having fun with friends this weekend, so we're going to hit the sack. So I hope there's been something here that has helped you out. Oh yeah, I started to cover the contest that's coming up. There is had to sign up on the Reddit wet shaving group to be a contestant, to be a part of it. You would buy the soap and the aftershave set, and then it's a Declaration grooming product, the milk steak base, which we know is awesome. Definitely a contender for one of the best out there. I enjoy it as well. And it's called Puzzle 2019. They did that before, I think last year, 2018. The winner who guesses the scent, the elements, the notes in the scent is the contest. Whoever gets the closest wins an amazing custom brush from Declaration Grooming. And many of us know that those are just some of the best brushes out there. If you like a certain type of brush that's kind of got some backbone to it, ultra soft tips, that sort of thing. So big, and those are kind of unobtainium. They're very difficult to get, the kind of brush that he's going to provide. And so I just decided to try this year. It'll be fun. I may not come close to being able to describe the scent. My nose is probably better than the average guy's, but There's some good guys out there that are going to be vying for the prize, so it'll be fun to try. But here's unfortunately the thing. To keep other people from kind of copying my notes, I can't tell you, the viewer, in my videos what I think of the scent, because they'll be able to watch, and then that might give them an advantage to add on my knowledge to whatever they may figure out, if I'm able to, come up with something reasonable. So I'm going to have to refrain from describing the scent. Obviously, the formulation, the performance of the soap is going to be terrific. But one thing that I can do, maybe will be my focus on the videos, we can run through my boars, run through some badgers perhaps. It's about a 14-day evaluation window. I'll probably be using that soap every day just to give me the best chance of trying to figure it out. And I did a sterling evaluation a month or two ago and figured out that I use about half a gram of sterling soap per shave, and the math figured out to a little over a year it would take me to use a tub of sterling soap, since they give you so much, almost 6 ounces. And that was enlightening. Changed my perspective on how much soap I want to keep around, But maybe I can use this same opportunity to figure out my usage on milk steak. Is it going to be similar to sterling, or is it going to be different? So that'll be fun to watch. So I'll weigh the tub before each use, and we'll chart some data like I did with the sterling R4L a month or two ago. So that's coming up. It could start as soon as 3 or 4 days from now. I guess it could start maybe a day sooner than that, but then we'll have a little window to work on it. I'll try my best to nail down those scents, and we'll see how it goes. So we won't have any scent descriptions for a while there. All right. Well, hey, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And you take care. Time to go to bed.